Do you ever get to that week before your period where everything suddenly feels harder and anxiety spikes? You feel exhausted and even the small things feel overwhelming. Right? Now you tell yourself you're stressed, but actually it's your hormones. And so today I wanted to show you how to regulate your nervous system when PMS anxiety hits, so you can feel grounded, calm, and back in your body. And the reason this sort of came up for me today is I noticed it this morning. And it's something I've been tracking and noticing and becoming more and more aware of. And actually, most of the time, I don't feel very anxious about stuff and I'm okay. And then it gets to kind of 2 or 3 days before my cycle begins. And I wake up very, very anxious, very nervous about stuff, very worried, and thoughts start playing on a loop. But what I've noticed particularly is that I've started to catch it when it happens and address it before it takes hold into the loop of negative spiral thinking, which can happen very quickly. And understanding that it's not actually my anxiety in the way that it's like anxiety, where there's real things going on and it's causing it. It's actually a hormonal shift that's triggering anxiety. And that once those hormones shift back, the anxiety will be gone. And so if you experience it, I want you to know as well, and part of the reason I'm making this video is it's not just you, because your body is under real hormonal stress, okay? And lots of people go through this, myself included, and your cortisol will rise, your serotonin will drop, your estrogen levels are really low, and the body will read that as danger. And that anxiety is part of a nervous system dysregulation as well. And so we can look at this from a nervous system regulation perspective and come back into the body, because actually it's your body that is going haywire. There isn't anything up here that's triggering the anxiety. It is your body going haywire. So how can we get back into the body and help that along the way? And it's just like remembering so that when you because when this happens, we think, oh, I'm failing, I'm not fixing, my anxiety's come back and I haven't fixed myself, and these negative patterns happen as well. And it's not about failing or succeeding or winning or anything like that. It's just at the moment you're in a hormonal distortion. So that distorts how you think as well. And that's causing the anxiety. And it's perfectly normal and it's perfectly natural. So before we jump into the practices, we're just going to take a minute or two just to kind of help you recognize what's really happening in your body and your system where the awareness matters. So what happens is your hormones all change, right? They all shift around the place. And your body can, no, this doesn't happen with everybody, but it happens with a lot of people. Your body can read this as a threat. It's a perceived threat. There's something off. There's a danger. So when your estrogen drops and your cortisol spikes, your nervous system can't tell the difference between danger and depletion. And so it will trigger a lot of the dysregulated things that you feel when you're dysregulated. And it's really important to be able to become aware of this, because then you know what's happening and then you can understand and you can deal with it. So you might notice, and if you track this, at certain times of the month that you start to get irritable or racing thoughts, wired fatigue, or just feel really anxious about everything. You may be more sensitive to noise, and all these things may happen. And one of the good things to do is to start observing it without judgment. And I'm a very big believer in mindfulness and coming into understanding without judgment. And tracking where you are in your cycle, tracking what's happening emotionally, and starting to be aware of what's happening. Because when you can say, this is my body talking, this is my body doing something, it's not actually my truth, you can stop identifying with the anxiety and it starts to calm naturally. But also what happens is when our body feels this dysregulation, this anxiety, it sends the messages up to the brain that something is off. And then the brain starts looking for solutions. Now, if you're unaware that it's a hormonal shift, you can get stuck in a negative spiral of thinking. So you're going down and down and down, worrying about lots of different things. And it then compounds the anxiety that you're feeling. But when you're aware that actually this is happening because my hormones are shifting, it very much changes your relationship with the anxiety. So it allows it to dissipate more easily. And you may notice that during this time that you can bring it down and it will peak, and then you can bring it down and it will peak, and that's normal as well. And that awareness, the awareness that you have that it's hormones and that this is happening, is part of the regulation. So as you notice the pattern, it starts to settle the body and it brings the safety back online, and that makes a huge difference. So what I wanted to do with you today was also give you 3 practices, as well as kind of like the awareness, being aware of what's happening, noticing it, registering it, logging it, and bringing that awareness into your life. There are just 3 practices that you can bring in when you're feeling this anxiety. There are loads more as well, but we're going to do 3. And the first one is to slow the body, not the mind. So we would do a breathing practice where we do an audible sigh as well. So we'd inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 8, but we would sigh with that 8 as well. And do that for a sort of like 1 to 2 minutes, okay? And allow that to really reset. So you may want to place your hand on your heart when you do it. Ideally, you want to have your feet flat on the ground. And the idea is it's going to lower your cortisol and signal safety. So we're going to do some rounds together. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4 through the nose, and then exhale for 8 through the mouth. So again, you would inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would ideally continue that at your own pace. So that counting rhythm may have been a bit too slow for you. You may want to do it slightly quicker. So you may want to do inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll learn what your own natural rhythm is. So you're still deepening the breath, but you're doing it in a way that feels comfortable. And you can just work through that for a minute or 2 and allow your breath to reset you, to lower your cortisol, to signal safety, and to come back into your body. And you might notice that just doing that breathing can reduce your anxiety a lot, especially when you're very conscious of the fact that it's hormonal anxiety. So the signal really goes back, and the brain is signaling safety as well. So you'll bring your body more into safety, but your brain feels safe because your brain understands what is causing this issue that's coming up. And you can also do something which can help you throughout your days, and that is to buffer your system with warmth and nourishment. So it's eating warmer foods, herbal teas, making sure that your feet are lovely and warm so you've got socks and slippers on, having a heat pack, and making sure you get enough sleep, so having magnesium before bed. All of these things can help to, one, reduce general PMS symptoms, but help to lower that anxiety because you feel like you're in a sort of a safety cocoon. And just making sure that you are taking care of yourself. So you eat well, small portions, nice bits of protein, and that you're maintaining that blood sugar level. So rather than trying to starve yourself during this time when your body's not going to cope because your body needs more calories, it needs more energy, taking regular snacks, healthy snacks, and with protein and complex carbs in your diet. So you're making sure that you're maintaining health as well. And when you're thinking about movement during this time, it's not the time to be going out and doing some, really hardcore running or weightlifting, something that's really hard on the body, because actually what your body needs is comfort, it needs support, and it needs safety. So gentle movement, doing some yin yoga, some gentle stretching, or maybe a little walk around the block, not a really aggressive one, just a nice, soft walking flow. And allowing all of these things to be nourishing for your body while you're doing it, because all of these things signal safety to your body. So we're not doing anything that is taking us out of safety. So what it's all about is saying, I feel safe, my blood sugar levels are safe, I feel warm, I feel cozy, and I'm moving gently and slowly. It's all about bringing that cozy feeling around ourselves so that we calm the anxiety and calm the nervous system at the same time. And then The other thing you can actually do towards it is start to reframe the story around it, your inner story. And that's what we've kind of been doing all the way through as well. But it's when we start to get into the thought of, I'm failing, when those thoughts come up, this isn't working, that's not working, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. You can just put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath in and say, this is not weakness. This is my cyclical intelligence recalibrating my power. And just understanding, really realizing that you're recalibrating and it's a natural cycle, it's a natural energy, and you're going through that, and that's okay. And this will help us to reconnect emotionally, our emotional and physical awareness, because when I've talked about the nervous system before, I said it's a two-way system. And yes, 80% of the signals from the nervous system go from the body to the brain. But that means 20% go from the brain to the body. So when we're in this loop where anxiety is being triggered by hormonal disruptions, then the body may feel disrupted. So the brain can work on, I know what's causing this anxiety. It's okay, I've got it. And it's sending that calm signal back to the body. Because often when we're dysregulated, what happens is that sends a signal up to the brain creates a story, and the brain continues the pattern of dysregulation. So we regulate from the body up to the brain. In this situation where it's being caused by PMS, there's an element of helping the brain, helping the body to come back to calm, because the body is being dysregulated by the body. So we're using the brain to kind of override some of those signals, because it is a two-way street and we can work them together. So hopefully these practices have been useful. And just remembering that PMS is not a flaw. It's just your body showing you where it needs care. Obviously, if it goes to the point where it's extreme anxiety, where you have thoughts of harming yourself, then please seek medical attention, medical support, because that is going beyond regular PMS and needs more medical intervention and more medical support. And I'm not here trained as a medical physician to help you with that. This is support for people who are suffering from PMS that is part of their regular cycle and is manageable. And just remembering that if you start honoring your hormonal rhythm instead of fighting it, you'll start to see the pattern. And that predictability actually puts you in a lot of power, because often as women, we can feel like we're kind of overrun by our cycles and that they're running the show. But when you take the power back, so you monitor, you make it predictable, you understand it, you take control, then actually that lessens the impact even more, because you're very conscious and you're very aware and you're very tuned into what is happening. And the more you can do that, the better. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, remember to like and subscribe so you get more of my content when it comes up. And if you want to continue learning about regulating your body through all the phases, so not just PMS, so all the phases of life, all the things that you experience, all the little dramas that we have in life, when family are driving us nuts or when work is really hectic, all of these things, then come and join me inside my free group, The Sacred Pause, where we can practice these things together and learn to live in rhythm and not resistance. The link is in the description, and I hope to see you there.